So I figured I should start taking this more seriously. So I'm going to be recording every day about what we find out and what happens to us. Because something really messed up happened tonight, and I don't know what to make of it, and I hope that at some point somebody else will, so maybe this helps. There's this mystery in our town. We're in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York and surrounded by woods. And ever since we were little, we've always heard of something called the Ace. And it was never really clear. It was just, a story about this entity that hurt or kidnapped kids when the sun had gone down. And it was basically what our parents used to keep us out of the woods at night. And at some point, we got into high school and people stopped talking about it, but at the same time, they were still referencing it in all these weird ways. And my friend Elizabeth is just an inquisitive person, and she wanted to know more. And so we started running around town, asking people about it. And eventually we met this old man who told us a story about his upbringing and something he found in the forest. There's apparently this building like a mile away from town in the woods, and it's completely decomposed. But the thing about it is that it's kind of like, like 1970s looking architecture. But this old guy, who's like 70, said that he saw it when he was a kid and that it was already falling apart. So obviously we're intrigued. And we were supposed to go at like 2 p.m. because school was letting out early, but all these different things happened and we got sidetracked and went to Elizabeth's place to help her mom with something. And short story, we ended up getting there at like 6 p.m. just as the sun was setting. And we should have just turned around. There's no time crunch on this. It's not like people are missing. We're just looking for answers because we want answers, not because we need them. And Elizabeth said, we're here, let's make the most of it. And this old guy, he was so freaked out by this place that he'd never gone back, but he had this map. He'd made a map of exactly how to get there. And we got there and it was the coolest building. Like, Jesus Christ, let me tell you about this place. 3 stories high, the last story just completely missing its floor. This old brick that like somehow smooth to the touch, and it has all these amazing vines all over it. And I'm usually the moral compass of the group, but I was the last person who was going to say, let's not jump into this place, because I really wanted to know what was going on. So we get inside, and right off the bat, all 3 of us see someone all the way across the front hall, running up the stairs. We hear it too, the footsteps are echoing all throughout the building, the sun's setting, it's getting darker. And without hesitating, all of us just follow. We're running down the hallway, we keep tripping over these like dislodged stones and all this rubble that's all over the place. And the inside of the building is weird. There's like no indication that anyone was ever there. It's just the building falling apart. There's all these like pillars that are, across the ground, but there's no posters on the walls. There's no desks, there's no tables, there's no chairs. There's not even like loose nails coming out of different places. It's just a cohesive surface, but broken. And I don't know, I'm taking it in as we're running down the hall, and we get to the stairs and we go up. And the 3rd floor, like I said, is completely caved in, but the 2nd floor is only a little bit broken. So we were walking around, and the way the building is set up, there's only one way to get from one side to the other. There's always a long hallway right through the middle. There's no staircase around the outside. There's no, exterior entryways that go to the second and third floors. You can only zigzag across the building to get from each floor to the next. In the middle of the second floor, the third floor, we look up and we see it's all gone. We can just see the sky right from the second floor. But the middle of the second floor only has this kind of like one broken section in the hallway from one end to the other, right in the middle. And it's a 20-foot expanse. You can't get across. There's no ledge left. There's no doorways in the central rooms that would let you cross to the other side. That's it. And for a second, we're standing at the edge of it, and we're talking to each other. And just suddenly there's this figure on the other side. And it's looking at us. And everything just came to me in that one moment. I realized where we were, I realized how dangerous it was, and I immediately started pulling on Elizabeth and Tyler. He was with us too, and they just don't budge. Their eyes are just locked in on this figure, and they just don't budge. And I tried to cover Tyler's eyes with one of my hands, and he grabs my hand and rips my fingers away from his eyes, and he just keeps staring. And he starts to step forward, but we're right at the edge of this hole on the second floor, and so I pull him back, and we tumble to the floor. And after a moment, he comes to, and I'm checking in with him. But I forgot, just for a second, that Elizabeth was right there. And she steps out into the hole in the floor. And there was this moment. It's like delay, it was like a moment of shock, and I couldn't get up to her. Tyler was on top of me. I couldn't get to her in time. And she stepped out over the open floor. But she didn't fall through. Her feet were floating. And then she took another step. And she was walking across this expanse to the silhouette. Another step, and another step, and she's halfway across. And then, like before, just all at once, everything hits me again, and I finally yell out, "Elizabeth, where are you going?" And the silhouette. There's nothing discernible about it. It's literally like an outline of darkness in the darkness. I didn't even get what it was or how it worked, but I could tell it turned to me. And it was looking at me. And when it turned, Elizabeth turned, and they were both looking at me. And each floor is 15 to 20 feet. They're really tall ceilings. And when she turns, her front foot gives out, and she falls through the hole to the first floor. And the silhouette starts walking across the expanse to us. So I start pulling Tyler back, and we run down the stairs. And when we get downstairs to the first floor, Elizabeth is right there. And and there's a pool of blood right next to her head. And I'm trying to shake her, and I'm trying to shake her, and she's not waking up. And Tyler's yelling her name, and she's not waking up. And from behind us, the silhouette is coming down the stairs. And I keep trying to shake her, I tried to shake her, and I kept trying to shake her and shake her and shake her. And I told Tyler to grab her legs, and I tried to pick her up. And we couldn't pick her up. We couldn't pick her up. We couldn't pick her up. It's not like she's heavy. She's shorter than me. She's this tiny little kid, and I felt like she was full of bricks. And the silhouette's coming closer and closer and closer. So Tyler and I ran. We started running, and the silhouette started running, and we're running to the exit, and the silhouette's running. And we get to the door, and I push Tyler out, and I tell him that I'll meet him at the car. And then I remember that Elizabeth drove us here, and she has the keys. And I look back. And the silhouette is standing over her. And it's just watching her. And it reaches down. And it grabs her legs. And it drags her away. And I'm frozen there, and I watch her pull her up the stairs. I ran out towards the car, and somehow Tyler had the keys, and he started the engine, and he asked me, he said, "Where's Elizabeth?" And I said, "I don't know." The silhouette took her, and he said, "Where's Elizabeth?" And I said, "I don't know." And we just drove away. We just drove away. Away. And we got to her place and sat in the driveway for like 20 minutes with the lights on in the car, and Tyler didn't even turn off the engine, and we're just staring out the windshield at her garage door. And her mom comes out because she's seen us sitting there for like 20 minutes. And she knocks on the window, and it takes us a second to respond. And then she sees that Elizabeth's not there, and then she sees that we're freaking out. And then she starts freaking out, and she starts crying, and I can't say anything to her. So we call the police. And when we got back to the building, there was no pool of blood. Where I had seen it, I'd seen the pool of blood, and there was no pool of blood left. And we went up to the second floor. And there was no hole in the second floor. And there were posters everywhere. And any room we went into had desks and chairs and old books. And Tyler and I didn't know what to say. You know, we were two high school boys who had taken this girl into the woods with us and come back without her, and we were gonna say that there was this ghost, this thing killed her, that she fell through a hole that clearly was not there. And like, obviously I'm worried that, like, you know, they're gonna come and arrest me, they're gonna come and arrest Tyler, and we're gonna get in trouble for this, but Elizabeth is gone. Elizabeth is gone. And I have no explanation of where she could possibly be because I don't know what the fuck happened in there. I don't know what the fuck happened in there. I don't know what the fuck happened in there. I don't know if she's dead. Sometimes I don't know if we killed her or not. But I need to find out. Tyler and I need to find out. So tomorrow morning, when the sun comes up, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. Because I know Elizabeth can't be dead. I don't want Elizabeth to be dead. This is a call. If you know anything about what's going on, or have any interest in helping, please meet us there. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. And whatever that silhouette thing is, we need to kill it. It needs to be gone.